Welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle, and this is the Belle Perspective. And did y'all get into Harlem? Are y'all into that show? Are y'all into it? It took me a little minute, but I'm into it. And so I hope you guys watch the show. Episodes 1 and 2 of Harlem on Amazon Prime. But before we start, you know I have to get into the housekeeping items. Number 1, if you want to be a part of the growing channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I also have a free virtual book club called LITuations. That will be in the description bar. And I also, last but not least, I want to shout out my new subscribers. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you. MJ, Southern Diva KP, and Brenda Lathan. Thank you for joining this growing channel. And if you want to be a part of this growing channel, please hit the subscribe box down at the bottom bar or down below and get into the comments and talk to me. Let me know what you think. Let's get into this review because I have a couple things that I want to talk about. So, girl, I hope, let me tell you, I'ma just, okay, had to clear my throat. Let me clear my throat real quick. So, first things first, Harlem, the men, top tier, okay? Because, see, here's the thing. Again, I said this in my last review of Harlem for season 1. I felt like I'm the only black girl who didn't like Insecure. Like, I did not. And don't come for me and don't pull my black card. I'm keeping it as mine, okay? I was not a fan of Insecure. Not at all. I thought it was okay at best and very cliche. It was okay. I wasn't here for it. But this video is not here. I'm not here to bash Insecure. I'm here to say that it takes me a long time, okay? I am very critical of the black women shows. And one of the things that I critique specifically is the availability of attractive black men. Like, does this show have some really hard-hitting, attractive black men on the show? If it doesn't, then I'm marking it off, okay? It's scoring low, okay? Harlem on Amazon Prime. Honey, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I cannot complain. Top tier, okay? Top tier, brothers. Top tier eye candy on this show. Number 2, it was a slow start for me, season 1, but it started to pick up towards like episode 5, 6, and I was like, oh my God. So it starts off with Camille. So that's Megan Good's character. She was kissing Ian, who is Tyler Lepley. He's on P-Valley. He plays Diamond and everything. Again, top tier, but like top tier. They did not slack with the dudes on this with the dudes in this show. They don't do it. They did chef's kiss. Episode starts back up from where it left off last year or the year before. I can't remember at this point, where Camille was kissing Ian, who was her ex-boyfriend, at his engagement party. Was it an engagement party? No, his rehearsal dinner. His fiance saw them and she ends up going off, rightfully so, and breaking it off with him. And at first I was kind of like, yay, okay, they're back together. But then I was like, why did you dump him in the first place? I just felt like it. Now that I'm thinking about it, as I've watched the show, both episode 1 and 2, I feel like it's complete regression. And I'm like, girl, if you don't get away from Ian and move on. Now, she was fooling with this other guy named Jameson. He's the professor guy. I like Jameson. At first, I was like, yeah, you might want to get with him because Jameson is all right. Like, he all right. He's kind of almost like a placeholder. But now I'm like, girl, Ian is regression. Why didn't he have the guts to tell you that he still wanted to be with you? Why did he do all the things that it's just a Camille, silly girl. She running behind him. So at the end of the episode, again. So before in season 1, she ends up going up to her boss's house and quitting her job. And so now she's between trying to figure out whether or not she should try to save her job, how she's going to save her job. She goes to Whoopi Goldberg's house, Dr. Parks, I think, or Dr. Park. Dr. Park is like, girl, what the hell? Why is you here? Why is you here? Basically. She's begging for her job, and Dr. Park was like, listen, I'll think about it. You said some really disrespectful things. You didn't have any good impressions on me. I don't even know if I really want to fool with you. So all that is going on with Camille in the first and second episodes. Angie. So I'm doing it by character because it's a lot all in one. Angie is feeling a little bit left out because Quinn is dating someone, Isabella, I believe is her name. Angie's trying to prepare for when Quinn kicks her out of her place because she got booed up. So apparently Quinn is one of those type of girls that once she gets booed up, she kicks her friends to the curb. But I'm going to continue with this critique of Angie's character. It is so stereotypical to have a dark skin, thicker set woman to be the vagabond, to be I don't want to say sexually loose because I'm here for sexual positivity as long as it's consensual, as age appropriate, like all of the things. The way that they classify her, she has no steady job. She's running from pillow to post, and I'm just like, why does it have to be the darker skinned, heavy set woman that's doing? Like, really, are we really doing that? So I'm not gonna lie, had me in stitches. The girl fooled around. She meets this guy while she's getting her feet done. All the girls are going to get their feet done. Baby, this man, chef's kiss, baby. Tall, dreads all the way down his back, just body, yaddy, yaddy. Okay, masseur, and he is massaging her feet, and they end up going back to his place. She is told before she goes to get her feet done that if she, sleeps with the right man, she sleeps with the most handsome man in Harlem. She's gonna have the best of luck. She sleeps with this guy. Ends up seeing his roommate. Now she turn around and tell the roommate. Now mind you, the roommate ain't sound like he had the elevator went all the way up to the top, but it really didn't matter because his face card did not decline. Okay. Friend and him and the roommate, good God, I might back in the day I might have done the same. She tells the roommate that she has an identical twin, and that she'll hook the identical twin up with him. Here's my number. I'll hook you up on my identical twin sister. She comes back to the house to fool with the roommate. I was like, now that's next level genius. He ends up meeting this other guy at a convenience store. Angie is all over the place, and I just do not like that. I'm just not here for it, right? I'm just not here for it. And he is handsome. He takes her back to the house. His house is phenomenal, and he's like talking about how well endowed he is. She ends up sleeping with him, of course, because at this point she is a hobosexual, okay? And he's exaggerating on his package. It's barely there. She ends up getting into it with him because he tells her that she needs to have some sort of enhancements down there. And she's like, well, I know you effing lying. Not you with your micro, not with the micro. So she ends up going back to Quinn's house. Quinn is with Isabella. Now, mind you, Quinn is in need of therapy. Her attachment issues, girl. Quinn is the type of woman who will start a relationship with somebody online and imagine it before she even meets them in person. She meets Isabella last season. She's hanging out with Isabella. She's being super available, planning all these wonderful things, doing all these expensive things with Isabella. She don't even know if Isabella is wanting to be in a relationship with her. She just jumps and assumes that Isabella is trying to be in a relationship with her. Part of her exploration is also trying to figure out how to navigate the space of being a woman who likes other women, or who's also sexually attracted to other women. With Ty, as they go to a sex store and they're looking at all these different toys, and child, I guess I'm approved, because some of them things I was like, oh God, well, where does that go? Jesus. Anyway, so she ends up buying like $4,000. Quinn buys about $4,000 worth of sex toys so she can prepare for her sexcapade with Isabella. They end up, you know, enjoying themselves, right? And she goes back and Quinn goes back to tell Angie about it. Now, later on that evening, or I guess like a couple of nights later, they're hanging out, and Quinn is like, hey, let's go up. I've got the wine you like, blah, blah, blah. And Isabella's like, no, I've got this campaign that I'm working on. I gotta go home. She said, basically, I've reached my social limit and I'm ready to go home. And Quinn is like, why? Did I do something wrong? Begging, embarrassing herself. Isabella turns around and just says, no, you're fine. She's like, what are we? We're in a relationship, you know? And that slips out from Quinn, and Isabella's like, I like hanging out with you, but I'm not really ready for a relationship. Quinn's face cracks, and I'm thinking to myself, come on. Why, writers, why are we doing this to her? Like, really? Quinn comes home. She's crying. Angie is home to console her and talk to her about her own sexcapades, right? And she says this like really desperate line. Quinn says this to Angie, why won't anybody love me? And I was just, she needs to go to therapy ASAP. And I honestly I know women like this. I was a woman who was like this. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Until I did some real work, baby, I was just like this. And so it makes me cringe to think about how her attachment style is so not good. It's like an anxious attachment style. It is so not healthy. So not healthy. Speaking of unhealthy attachment styles, Ty. So we all know from the last season, if you've watched it, Ty is married to a man. His name is Brandon, and she pretty much ghosted him. He married her, fell in love with her, all these things, and she pretty much ghosted him and came out and became same-sex loving. So now that Brandon's back in her life, she's trying to go through a divorce. She thinks it's all about money. She's basically dodging the attorneys for Brandon and this divorce. While she's doing all this dodging, she is finding out that her name is plastered all over a social media site called She Be Toxic. And apparently all these women have written about how toxic Ty is, how she, uses them, loves them, and leaves them. And so she's grappling with the thought of trying to commit to someone without actually having to commit to someone. She goes to a puppy shop. She picks up the Shar-Pei, who seems like a loner, pretty much aloof kind of dog. She couldn't commit to that. She ends up leaving the puppy store. So then she goes to a plant store. She's looking at plants that don't necessarily need a whole lot of water and all of this. And Rachel True's character, I don't know her name, I just know Rachel True, points out a cactus. Girl, she take the cactus home and drops the cactus down to the garbage disposal. Funniest thing ever. I'm like, girl, you can't even take care of a cactus, girl? Good God. But I know I can't talk trash because I do not have a green thumb. So that probably would have been for me as well, and I probably would have dropped it out the window or something like that. I would probably left it at the hood of my car, and drove off and left it in the street. That'd have been something I would have done. I'm sure. She goes back to the website shebetoxic.com. She keeps finding this one particular person, and I can't remember the person's name, but apparently this person is like legendary in loving and leaving them. So she's like, oh my God, I gotta find this woman. She knows exactly what I need. She won't need as much as I need. She won't need a lot. I don't need a lot. We're perfect for each other. She goes to this bar that she hears that this woman takes people out to. She ends up running into the woman. They connect, they have sex, and they're like, hey, I can talk to you never. I can talk to you later. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Be out. And I'm just like, honestly, my prediction is that Ty is going to get wrapped up. She's going to get caught up in it. As the new girlfriend is leaving, or the new girl that she's met, the new girl toy that she's met for the evening is leaving, Brandon is moving his things in and saying hello. And it looks like he's got bags and here to stay. So I completely like mashed up both episode 1 and 2. So Amazon, I guess, is deciding to like spoon feed us the episodes, which is kind of good for me because binge watching is so hard to like review all at once. Okay, let me tie up some loose ends. Things first, we see again Mira confronts Camille, right, at her dinner rehearsal as she's kissing Mira's fiance. Then Mira confronts Camille as Camille is at Ian's parents' or family's house. So Bevy Smith was at, this is Bevy? B. Smith, I think. I don't remember her name. Something Smith. Is her aunt, right? Is his aunt, is Ian's aunt. And basically she was like, girl, I don't know why you came back to him. You literally left him on the curb. I hollered. Not even gonna lie. And she was like, this is what you're wearing to a wedding? Isn't it faux pas to wear white? She said, it's not as faux pas as kissing the fiance on the night of the wedding. I was like, ooh, she got you. She got you together. She's talking on the phone and Mira pulls up behind her and is like, here you are again at the house that I was supposed to spend my life with, the house I was supposed to be living in. She basically gathers herself and tells her to F off. And later on in the episode, either 1 or 2, we find out that on the She Be Toxic website, Camille was also posted that she loves him and leaves him. And at first, we think that it's Jameson is the, that, because, and I forgot this part. Oh, I forgot. Camille finally decides that she's just going to break up with Jameson. He's a placeholder. She's ready to let him go. Okay. I, at first, thought that was okay, but then I started questioning. Ian is blaming you for the breakup of him and his relationship. He's not taking responsibility for that. He is a wimp. He wasn't honest with Mira at all. Like, he would rather place blame on everyone else as opposed to taking responsibility for himself. He doesn't make his own decisions and stands in them. And if he does, he's making those choices, but then is saying, this is what you did and you forced me, you forced my hand. Like, I don't like that kind of man, because Jameson wants to stay in New York. He ended up getting offered a position to go teach at Chicago because he's a professor, or adjunct professor. And so he comes to her house, to Camille's house, and says, hey, listen, I'm gonna stay. And Camille basically says to him, I don't want to be the reason why you give up a job. And he's like, great. So you're breaking up with me. But telling him that he basically was a placeholder. And she confronts him about posting him on shebetoxic.com as well. And he was like, I never posted that. And honestly, who I think posted on She Be Toxic is Mira. I think Mira posted that. What else? I'm trying to make sure I tie everything in. I think that's it. Let's get into predictions, okay? Again, I think we're going to find out that Mira is the one that posted on She Be Toxic. I think that Ty is going to end up falling for this new woman. What else is happening? Camille and Ian, at the end of the last episode, they decided that they're going to be together. All hell about to break. It is not going to be what they thought. It's not. There is a reason why she left him on the curb. Like, she high-key left him on the curb to go to Paris. To make such a drastic decision like that at such short notice, there was a reason. And I think she forgot what that reason was because she felt so guilty for so long. And now that she sees him with someone else, it's like, you're my happy ending. You were supposed to be what I wanted. girl, I think it's gonna blow up in her face. I don't know what they're gonna do with Angie because they have written her so shallow, trite. I can't even predict what her character will potentially do because there is no depth with her at all. Quinn, dear God, I pray that they're gonna write therapy in there for her because I have no idea what is going to happen with that character. It's really scary for her to be walking around. Her personality gives bait for a narcissistic personality. Girl, it's dangerous out here, girl. It's real dangerous. It's too dangerous to be out here like that. So I don't know. The writing, I'm probably going to give it like maybe a 4.5. 4.5 out of 5.5 out of 10. I'll give you that. About 5.5 out of 10. I do enjoy the melanin. They look really great. I love I just like the vibe. It's a really good vibe. It was slow. It was a slow start for me season 1. Interested to see how things end. So that's all I've got. Again, my name is Belle. This has been the Belle Perspective. And if you like what you hear, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. Keep in mind, I am a lover of books and music and TV and movies and all sorts of things. So I do have a free virtual book club, LITuations. It's down in the description box. More information so that you can join our next conversation. I just want to shout out my new subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, Southern Diva KP. And thank you so much, Brenda Lathan, for joining. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.